Morning, big changes at living the good life naturally. I need your help deciding how to handle it, what to do. So, we had an unexpected guest at well, a guest is someone you invite. I didn't invite them. FDA. Shelly got a message, said, "This is the FDA person, blah, blah, blah. We're at your door. Where are you?" And so it's been a little crazy since they came, and they're watching my social media and they have an open investigation. Now, the upside is that her comment was, "This is the cleanest warehouse I've ever been in." Yay, team! They're amazing. And we're having to change like the format of our procedures. So we don't have it written out in a way that they like. And then there's things like we have to lock up the labels. Like, what? We have to buy this special cupboard and a lock and keep our labels locked up. Anyway, so there's some just, in fact, even the FDA person said this is ridiculous for your size of company. I don't, anyway, I have so many emotions about it. I sometimes just have to put it on a shelf and walk away. So, one of the things, I may cry. So I am really proud of my reviews on our products at Living the Good Life. I get hit up probably every single day with an email that says, "Hey, we can sell you better reviews and they won't look like fake reviews, but they're fake reviews." And to me, that's not how I do the business. That doesn't match my values. And so I've never done that. Our reviews have been really slow to grow, and people look at reviews and to determine, how did this work for other people? Did this work for me? Will I like it? We got one super funny review. It was actually a negative review, and I still belly laugh. Oh my gosh, there's like a runner's club. Usually the beach is empty. There's all these runners, like 40 of them. There must be something going on. Anyway, so we got this one funny negative review, and it was about our lemon magnesium boosted bath bomb. And she said it was one of the worst experiences of her life, that the tub went yellow, the same color as the bathtub, or the same color as the bath bomb that she put in, which I was like, yeah, that's how that works. You buy a yellow bath bomb, turns the water yellow. So she was concerned that she'd peed in the water, and she hadn't felt that slimy since she'd eaten some fried chicken, and the tub hadn't been that stressful to her since she'd bathed with her little sister, and her sister had pooped in the tub. it it made me laugh because that lemon bath bomb is our best-selling bath bomb. Like, we sell so many of those. So anyway, I'm really proud of our reviews because we publish the review whether it's positive or negative. I want people to see what are other people's experience. And sometimes I do get a little like, "Oh, I wish I had more reviews on all the products so people could see." Well, now is what I have to do, and what we had to do as a company so that we don't get shut down is those, like, more than, I think, 40 or 50% of our reviews had to be deleted because they said things like, "Magnesium helped me with this." And I can't leave that up on the website. If someone else states that magnesium helped them, I can't leave it up on the website. And so all of those reviews that were written and someone took the time, a lot of them had to be deleted. And it felt like open heart surgery. And I know it wasn't. I know there's harder things in life. I know that people are experiencing really hard things. And in the scheme of things, a review is not life or death. It is important to me though, because it shows the integrity of the company and it allows people to make a decision based on other people's experiences. So one of the things that I'll be doing so that I'm not shut down by the FDA is before every live, before I start, like today I want to talk about uric acid. And before every live, I will say, I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing or diagnosing. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm sharing, just like if you and I were out to lunch and we were talking, hey, what are you doing for health? Hey, what are you doing for this? Oh, I'm doing this. You doing this? Oh, I read this. That's what these walk with me's are. It's just like this conversation. It's just this conversation. I'm not telling you, and I respect your intelligence that you know that I'm not telling you what to do. And I think it's pretty darn obvious I'm not a doctor. So every walk with every video I do will start it out that way, reminding people that I'm not a doctor, I'm not prescribing, I'm not telling you what to do, I'm not diagnosing. And you'll hear me say, studies have shown, people experience. I'm wanting to learn some phrases that I can use that protect me from the FDA shutting us down. So this morning, I forget to do Instagram. Instagram's like my forgotten little social media because like right now I'm streaming to 2 social media sites and you can't do that, or I haven't figured out how to do that on Instagram. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I need to get on Instagram. And I did some stories on uric acid and got so many people like, oh my goodness, a lot of people have questions and thoughts on this. And so this morning I did a live, with my new filter. The FDA is watching all of my social media, listening to all of my, they're actively doing that for the next 3 months. And well, our case is open. We're not under investigation. There was no complaint. We just have an open case. So I did a live on Instagram and I was in my kitchen and I was showing like, okay, because, I can say that I take lemon juice, I take tart cranberry, I take acerola for my own personal benefit when it comes to uric acid. Studies have shown. Anyway, and it was the most awkward, like I kept having to think in one part of my brain, oh my gosh, is that going to get me shut down? Am I going to be in trouble for saying that? Are they going to shut down my company? And on the other hand, I'm trying to communicate. And I always yell out to my husband. I always just yell out in the house, going live, because if my husband's there, then he knows, like, shh, keep it down. So I yelled out, going live, thought I pushed the button. Yeah, didn't push the button. So I did like a 20-minute live from my kitchen on like I'm going to get wet. On the process and the steps and how I do it. How that shows up in my daily life. If that would interest you, let me know in the comments below and I'll do it again from my kitchen and just like, because I can say da-da-da, but I thought it would be helpful if I showed how I did it. So let me know. Oh, let's see. Let me go over to comments. Let me know in the comments if that would interest you to see, I guess, more my systems, how I set it up in my day to get that in without being overwhelmed, without like, oh my gosh. So I'll redo that. hopefully hit the correct button. I have to admit, I'm open to learning how to constantly use a phrase to protect myself and the company when I'm doing lives. And it felt really choppy to me. So I'm asking for patience. If you enjoy my lives, if you learn something from my lives, I'm on a mass learning curve. How to do that and still allow my ideas to flow and my brain to think of what next. Because I do want these walk with me's to feel like you and I are just sitting down at lunch. The downside is I don't get to hear back from you. I don't get to know where you're at, what you're doing, what helps, because it's a bit of a one-way conversation with how social media is set up. And so here's a couple things that I've played with is that I've thought would work. Maybe is what I do is I do the lives on social media like I've been doing, but instead of adding them to social media, I add the recorded version to Core 7. And so if you catch me live on social media, I'm there, but the recorded parts are held in a more private area. Maybe that would give me less liability. I've wondered, do I do a podcast? I go on other people's podcasts all the time, but maybe I need to have my own domain and my own podcast. And then I could have it, that little saying, I'm not a doctor, I'm not prescribing, I'm not diagnosing. You're smart, you do what's best for you, run it by your doctor, like aired 3 times, so it's like recorded. So my brain can just think and not have to worry about liability. I've wondered, do I host a server? My son could set this up, and it would be a lot of work. I don't know if it would work. My son hosts a server where we have our own little server, but I don't know how many people would go over to that. Like, I don't know. I've thought of announcing I'm going live on social media, the topic, and then going live in Zoom and having it like a Zoom live, and then not broadcasting it on social media. Anyway, somehow I've got to come up with solutions to protect myself and protect the company from what I perceive as FDA oversight, overreach. So there's the changes that are happening. And again, the beautiful thing, there are hard things to this, and there have been some really reaffirming things. So let me share with you the reaffirming things. Her comment was, this is the cleanest warehouse I've ever been in. Team's amazing. Megan runs a tight ship when it comes to production. Like, whoo! She has procedures and hand washing and hair nets and sanitation above and beyond what protocols are set out to be legally. She does an amazing job. They don't like the format that they're in, so they have to be all reformatted. But Megan is working on that with my husband and I, helping her do that. Anyway, lots of just little things like that. But let's get to uric acid. Can we do that? And here's my disclaimer again. I'm not a doctor, not prescribing, not telling you what to do, not telling you anything will cure you. I'm just sharing, like we're sitting at lunch together, you and I. And I'm sharing what I do. And in the comments section, some of you every once in a while share what you do. And that's called the conversation. between people. So, uric acid. Think of it, not all acid is bad, but uric acid is. So think over too much uric acid. Your kidneys are supposed to break down your uric acid. And think of it now, if they're not, it can lead to gout. And gout is an incredibly painful experience. And it typically will go to the joint of your big toe if you have a gout flare. And it will get red and very, very tender. And then other parts of your body. I don't know why it goes to the big toe first. I want to learn about that. If anybody knows, tell me. So the downside of uric acid is you don't have to have a gout flare with your big toe hurting and swollen to have, oh my gosh, I stepped in a puddle, to have uric acid slow down your health. Think of acid like burn acid, like bad negative acid inside your body, kind of etching away at everything and creating this little inflammation fire. And you don't have to have full-on gout to have that done, to have that happening right now in your body. So uric acid, when you break it down, kidneys are supposed to filter it, so that can be an issue. I'm not saying it is for you, not saying it is for you, just sharing some things I've learned. It can also be a histamine issue at the mast cell. And so some things that happen if you do have high uric acid, after you exercise, if your face goes beet red, that can be an indication that your uric acid levels are high. If you wake up in the morning and you're stiff and you're sore and you feel like a 90-year-old person getting out of bed, that can be a uric acid level. If you've been diagnosed with autoimmune, that can be a uric acid level. If you have migraines, that can be a uric acid level. Let's see what else. Fibro, that can be a uric acid level. Headaches, just general headaches. Just having to do more than what other people have to do to gain less ground than what they gain is a uric acid issue. And so there's a book out called, is it Drop Acid? I think it's called. It's in my link on my Instagram, on my Amazon favorites. I think it's called Drop Acid. It's a red and white book on uric acid. I don't agree with everything in the book. And what he says to do has not helped my uric acid levels. But I have learned a lot from that book. And I do test my uric acid levels at home. Now, you can get them tested by your doctor. He or she can run a uric acid level test. I like to know if I'm progressing or toward uric acid or away from uric acid. So anything I can have at home to take control and more accountability, more responsibility for my health is I like. So I do have the meter and I don't test every single day, but if I'm having some symptoms, I will test in the morning. The most accurate test for uric acid time is right in the morning, right as you wake up before your feet hit the floor. So I have it right there by my bedside when I am going to test in the morning. And again, I don't test every morning, only when I'm having a little flare. I'm also doing some research on menopause and uric acid. It has menopause triggered something with my uric acid? Because I was diagnosed with it in my 20s, but I haven't had any flares. And currently I've got a little flare going on. Now, for me, weight loss, and I know this is such a touchy one. And so if it's not good for you to talk about it or listen about it, hop off if it triggers you. Take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. Weight loss is one of my goals. And when my uric acid is high, I do not lose weight, no matter what I'm doing. So if you have a hard time losing weight, uric acid could be inflaming your metabolism. And that's another reason why I love metabolic adaptability. Nutritional ketosis, it is not keto. Let me say that again. It is not keto. Because it has been shown in studies with people that being metabolically adapted turns off that overproduction of uric acid. And so I love that I've been able to really kick into that metabolic adaptability to help turn it down. The three things that have helped me the most, that I'm not telling you will help you, I'm not prescribing, sharing information like we're sitting at lunch, and that is lemon juice. And it's not appropriate for everyone, just sharing with you what I do. Lemon juice, I have a little concoction I drink in the morning with lemon juice and chia seeds and baking soda and salt. And then when I get home from my walk today, I have a little ice cube of tart cherry juice that's melting. And when I eat breakfast, I'll drink that. I do it with my breakfast to reduce the insulin spike that I get from it, but still get the benefit. And we can go deeper into that if enough people want the system that I thought I was doing a live on Instagram this morning that I wasn't. And then one of the most important is the acerola cherry powder. A good, strong vitamin C with a copper core has been shown in studies to naturally reduce. Now, yours may be so far along that you need more than that and you need to try medication. No shame. Leave no stone unturned. I choose to start on the natural side, do everything I can preventatively before I get to that point. Okay, Adele, how do you test at home? If you were me and wanted to find out, what would you do? I would go to Living the Good Life Naturally's Instagram page, which is me, and go to the link in my bio, go to the Amazon storefront, and there is a section on my Amazon storefront that has my 2 favorite meters that have worked the best. I've used about 7 different ones. Those are my 2 favorite. The reason that there are 2 there is because sometimes one or the other, or sometimes even both, are out of stock. So normally I just put 1, but because they go out of stock back and forth, I like both of them equally. One's, I think, about $5 more. So I would purchase that and I would start testing in the morning, first thing in the morning. Now, your uric acid will change throughout the day, how your body responds to the foods that you eat. For me, sleep is a huge indicator in menopause, more than it used to be, for my uric acid levels. And so if I stay up late, I can ensure that my uric acid levels are going to be higher. So sleep for me is as important as the foods that I'm eating. And The interesting thing, the book I talked about, I think it's drop acid. I think burn acid, take acid, I don't know. It talks about the foods. And so I wanted to know, because I recognize that just saying this one food raises everyone is not realistic. So I wanted to know how my body handled the high purine foods. And for me, it doesn't make a difference. So just because you read it in a book, apply it to your situation and your body and see if that works. Shelly, thank you, Shelly. Shelly just put up a link for the acerola cherry powder, and that takes us to something I've noticed. And again, I'm not prescribing, I'm not telling you, I'm just sharing, like you and I were at lunch. I have noticed a pattern among women that with the increase of virus in our world, and we're getting wave and wave of these variants of a virus, that our bladders are becoming weaker. And bladder is a soft tissue and it's spongy, and bacteria and virus literally like hook onto it. And so D-mannose is becoming even more important in my personal routine. D-mannose has been shown in studies to support bladder and help clean up the bladder from bacteria and virus. And so if you've got a bladder that's loaded with bacteria and virus, and then you dump a bunch of vitamin C on it, any vitamin C, you can aggravate the bladder and go into cystitis. That's not a good thing. That's like really painful. Your bladder cramps and it's painful. So I'm taking less acerola and more D-mannose to protect my bladder. So I'm taking smaller doses of acerola throughout the day instead of one big dose morning and night. I'm taking smaller doses throughout the day. And just some thoughts on what you can do, because that vitamin C can aggravate bladder. The acerola, see, I have a hard time, like, how do I say this and not get in trouble? But it has been shown in studies that acerola plays a role in breaking down uric acid, as shown in studies. Are we clear on that, you and I? Right? Like, you've got that. FDA, do you have that? You're watching all my social media. Does that make sense to you, FDA? It's in studies, scientific studies, Science Daily. So, is uric acid a concern to you? Is it something that you've ever been diagnosed with? Like, this is where, we've had basically a one-sided conversation. I've hogged all the conversation on our walk, and I'd love to hear if you've ever looked into your uric acid, if you're doing something spectacular that's helping you with uric acid. I would love to have that conversation. And FDA, I will remember that they're just sharing with me, two humans connecting and talking, what works for them. And I will remember they're not diagnosing or prescribing to me, but we are having an open dialogue about health and how to stay healthy. So I'd love to know, have you ever felt like, oh my gosh, I do so much to get healthy, or have you ever had that thought, nothing works for me? Nothing works. Like, I do all these things and I get frustrated and then I give up and then I try again and nothing works. If you've ever thought that, please look into uric acid, because uric acid is almost always linked to insulin resistance, which mine has gotten worse during this flare. And so it aggravates insulin resistance. So, and you just don't get healthy when there's insulin resistance. When the cell is calling out for insulin to manage the glucose and the insulin's not penetrating the cell, that insulin becomes free floating and incredibly inflammatory. And then if you've got high uric acid, you've got another inflammation fire there, and you've got fires in your body, and you're over there trying to do all this stuff, but they're not putting out the fires. So I think it's really important to look at if you've ever been frustrated or felt like you had some of those symptoms. And one thing that you can do, my husband and I were talking about this last night, is wherever you're going to search for information, you're training that artificial intelligence what level of information to give you back. Like, my husband doesn't search for health topics like I do. He searches permaculture and soil health and that kind of thing. So we can go to our phones. He puts in the exact same search term that I do. And if he searches health, like, he's not going to get the same things that I get back. I've trained that artificial intelligence, and I study and I read. I get back deeper information than he does on health. He's done that on permaculture and alternative building. So I get back basics, like pre-K level, where he gets back doctoral topics. So remember, you're training artificial intelligence by your search terms, how much you study, and what you learn. You're training what to give back to you. And so everybody's at different levels, and we're determining by what we search what information is coming back to us. And I think that's such a interesting concept. Like, oh, we could deep dive on that one for a while. So today, you've got to take information that you've learned and you've got to customize it to your body. So for example, I'm a blue light glasses fan. And if I'm not outside because I want to get the rays of the sun, even though it's an overcast day, I'm still getting those colors of the sun. I don't want blue light glasses on because I want that hitting my eyes. At home, I am. Some migraine people, they put on blue light glasses and it triggers their migraines. So you have to take information that you learn and you have to customize it to your body. In some ways, you and I are so similar. We need potassium. We need voltage at the cell. We need mitochondria. We need stem cells in our gut renewing, increasing, building. But in some ways, we're so incredibly different. I'm a celiac. I will never put wheat in my mouth. No matter what pill they come out with to offset it, it's not going to happen. You might be able to eat it and be fine and not cause inflammation. You might be feeding your inflammation with it and not even know it. You might be able to take wheat in its proper form, proper seed, and proper form of sourdough and be fine with it. But if you eat regular wheat off the bread or off the store shelf, it inflames you. So we're all so unique. At the same time, we're also similar. So today, here's my challenge for you. And that is, as you're learning and as you see things and and learn things, remember to filter it through your body's needs and to make decisions based on your own personal genotype, not what your girlfriend's doing that works for her, not what your sister's doing that works for her, not what your husband's doing and works for him. And oh gosh, I gotta turn around. I'm gonna be late for work. So I think it's so important. And if you've ever felt overwhelmed, almost always that pattern's kicked in for you, that you're trying to do things that work for someone else. And these machines we have, these bodies are beautiful and intricate, and there's a big learning curve that comes with taking care of them. And some people just want it handed to them, and it's a process. It's a process to learn what your body needs versus what my body needs. And some is very similar and some is very different depending on our state of health and where we're at. So thanks if you have any ideas for how to, I don't know, I like connecting with you. I like sharing what I've learned. It benefits me. It solidifies my learning curve. But at the same time, I don't want the FDA shutting down my company. It's my passion. Outside of my family, it's my life's work. So if you have any thoughts on how I can do that, how I could set that up, I'm open to listening. But before I turn this off and go climb some hills and really get my heart rate up there today, let's do some breathing together, you and I. Are you ready? Just in through your nose, out, if that's a good fit for you. If it's not, pass. But here's some beautiful ocean. If you don't have ocean around you, get outside. Maybe you have mountains or hills where there's negative ions, because those negative ions found out in nature, concentrated around ocean water and lakes and mountains and trees, they bring cortisol levels down. So might not be ocean for you, but find your place. Find your place outside that brings your cortisol levels down, so that the input that you're putting into your body to get healthy, you're maximizing. That's always my goal, to maximize what I'm doing. How can I magnify that so that the simplest of inputs creates the most impactful benefit for my body, so that I can do those things I dream about. Bike rides with grandkids and jumping on trampolines and art projects and making soap are some of the things I like to do. Oh, how about this? Tell me what you love to do. I'm going to go hit some hills. Have a good day.